Let's have a real conversation about motivation, the topic that's near and dear to the heart of almost any business manager or leader. How motivated are my employees? And so let's break that down a little bit and talk about motivation as we talk about it in Plank 5 of our leadership platform model that's in the book that I wrote called Land on Your Feet, Not on Your Face. First of all, you don't motivate people, they motivate themselves. And you create the conditions that lead to people being motivated. You surround them with positive influences, with information, with training, teamwork, culture. There's all these ways that you can increase the motivation of an employee through creating conditions. But you do not motivate them. When people say I'm a great motivator, I'm always a little bit suspicious of that statement, because ultimately it's all on each of us to motivate ourselves based on our own self-interest, frankly, in a lot of cases. The second thing to understand is that your motivations are often completely different from the motivations of the people you work with. And so one of the big mistakes we see in our work is people assuming that other people are motivated the same way they are, perhaps by money or status or some other characteristic of the work, when in fact an employee might have an entirely different set of motivations. In our book and in the leadership platform model, we talk about these as the shovels of motivation, meaning you need to dig deep. You need to go find out what motivates people, and you need to find that out on an individual basis. You can't assume that any one thing will be motivating to a group of people. And some people really respond to the social element at work, some people don't. Some people really are very interested in a job that will help them grow in some significant way professionally. Other people, that's less of a motivator. So find out what motivates each individual. You might be surprised. We've had many managers over the years have these types of conversations and come away surprised by the answers that they got when they really dug deep and tried to find out what's going on in this person's life, what really makes them tick. This is really the whole concept of motivation from a leadership perspective, is this deep dive into, frankly, the psyche and the spirit of another human being. A good question to ask is to find out what people do outside of work. You can learn a lot about a person's motivations by understanding what they do voluntarily. The things that people do away from work are done for no pay, for no title, no hope of promotion. They just do them because they love them. So find out what people love to do, and that might give you some interesting clues into the type of work environment that you want to create around them. I remember speaking to one of my clients one time, and I said, I asked him, what would you do if you got up tomorrow morning, you won the lottery, and you never had to make another dollar for the rest of your life? And he said, I'd be a hunting guide. He said, I would go out and lead people on elk hunts in the mountains of Idaho and the Pacific Northwest. I said, okay, so how can we make your job look more like a hunting expedition? How can you figure out how to take that motivation that makes you want to do that for no money and do something here that looks more like that and get paid for it? So there's some obvious motivators that I think a lot of employers lean on a little bit too much. Certainly money is one of them. I'm continually surprised at how much emphasis businesses continue to put on money as a motivator, when the science indicates again and again and again, repeatedly through multiple studies, that it's not a significant motivator. It's a reward, it's an exchange of value, it's a recognition of their contribution. It's not the reason to do the work. And you'll find that the best employees would do the same quality of work at this level of income that they would do at this level of income, and promising to take them from here to here will not make them better employees. It will reward them more appropriately for their contribution, but it won't really motivate them. And this is a difficult concept for a lot of people to understand, in part because the top leaders in most organizations tend to be a little bit more money oriented, a little more status oriented, and have a hard time understanding why somebody wouldn't be motivated by the same things. There's less obvious motivations. We've already talked about some of them. Is a person really a good fit with their job? If somebody's not a good fit for their work, they're not going to be particularly motivated to do it well. Some people value stability. You need to create more safety and stability around some of your employees in order to make them feel strong and balanced and motivated. And so, again, this whole idea is to get past the obvious motivations of money, status, working conditions, all those kind of things that we tend to obsess about when we're trying to attract and retain employees, and make it a more personal relationship between that individual and the people that individual works with and for. The real motivation in the workplace is largely driven by the quality of the relationships that individual has with the people they work with. So focusing on relationships is a really good way to unlock this secret of motivation for a lot of your coworkers and yourself. So motivation, tough subject. We'd love you to study it in any way you can and learn more about it and get past maybe some initial assumptions and expectations that you have about it and dive a little deeper into the subject. Thank you.